Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Yeah, I look a little scruffy today. As soon as I'm able to get my razor, I'll get to tidying things up. But till then, this is me. Okay, current blood sugar is 9.7. I had quite an active night last night of corrections. I did calibrate this morning and I think I was 10.4. So on here, we have numbers or where my blood sugars were all night. If we go back to 6 o'clock, I was 26, which is relatively high, but took an external dose just through a syringe of 40 units, which brought me down to where I am today. So it all looks good. Time and range, not as good. 41% in range time. There it is, right there. 59 above. Now we know what number are we looking for? We're looking for 70%. I was going to say 17, I don't know why. 70%. Had no lows, which is good. Average blood sugar is 13.6. We have a little work to do. Still showing the battle wounds of my endocrine, or my DKA, and hopefully maybe later today we can get this taken out. So, what are we going to discuss today? We're going to discuss our diabetes patients, second-class citizens. And we're going to try this from two viewpoints. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay, what do I mean by second-class citizens? Well, first of all, we're going to take a look from the medical viewpoint. Oh, we can't do your toenails. Oh, you can't cut your toenails. We're going to have to get someone else to do it, an RN. So, okay, I got to admit, they do handle quite well. It's a lot of time. A regular nurse can't do it, a care aide can't do it, and it's, oh, well, you know you are a diabetic. Yes. Well, they may NICU. Okay, wonderful. So sometimes my nails do get a little large if I've missed an appointment with the foot care nurse. And it's amazing, once they're trimmed back, my feet, for what I can feel better. But again, everything is, we're pigeonholed. And, oh, we can't do that because you know you are a diabetic. Well, that's great. No one ever told me. And I don't really appreciate that form of talking. Well, you know, that's not suitable. I would personally like more of, because you have diabetes, we have to take special precautions, but not because you know you're a diabetic. And a lot of times I feel where a person who isn't a diabetic could get treatments options that aren't open to us. Surgery and whatever. I'm not saying I want surgery, but second-class citizens. Well, and I'm sure someone who has cancer or someone who has heart conditions, all sort of feel the exact same way. And they wonder why adult diabetics don't want anyone at work to know. Oh no. Well, this is one of the reasons why. And then if someone at work has a severe low blood sugar, immediately it's sort of, oh, are you sure you can work? It's immediately, once your blood sugars are back, you should be able to come back to work. You may want to take a day off, especially if you've gone through a DKA. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a DKA survivor. But taking things under control and letting someone else know. Because I've been accused, when I've had a low blood sugar, that I was drunk at work. And they put me in a back room, and someone did call an ambulance. I don't know why. No one knew I was diabetic at this point, And it was sort of, oh, he's a diabetic. Oh. Easier said than done. So, what do we need to do? We have to make sure that everything is stable. That's one way. So you're not running into these problems of dropping low or going high. We, as diabetics, have a responsibility to ourselves to control our blood sugars. If you don't want anyone to know at work, I do still suggest you talk to one person and let them know you are a diabetic. Could be your boss, could be someone you share a cubicle with, whatever, as long as one person knows. So if you're starting to act peculiar, they could get you a sugary drink and could get things stable again quickly without medical intervention. Next area we're going to take a look at is how we're perceived out in the real world. A lot of times, people don't want to hire diabetics. They'll come up with some other excuse, but on the whole, my grandmother had diabetes. We hear this again and again and again. And, I take a look at it and say, well, you could go low while you're at work. And it's kind of like, well, you could get a migraine headache while at work. I don't accept, shiny nose here, right here, that we should be treated any differently. And being a second class employee, or just because you have the ailment, disease, whichever term you want to use for it, does not, no one has the right to do that to you. You can see this down the line as kids in elementary school who are diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic are often bullied and kind of picked on because, oh, they're a diabetic. Oh, you got diabetes because you ate too much sugar. That's the reason why. No, that's not the reason why. But thank you for letting me know. Okay? I don't know. We'll have to look at it. Next, we need to be alert and take subtle hits. A lot of places where you work are willing to, oh, well, he can't do that job because he's a diabetic, even though we're qualified to. Oh, but he's diabetic. He may have to take extra time off. Well, no, I don't want to take extra time off. But instead, in a face-to-face interview, they don't bring up the point that as a diabetic, we need to be alert and be aware. So we need to take initiative, talk about it, be open about it, and say, I can still do the job. Let's talk about what I can actually bring to the job. If they still have concerns, what are your actual concerns? Let's talk about it, and let's say we can do stuff. So being aware of what's going on and how you're dealing with stuff. If you go at it professionally, if you're doing the best you can to control something, the only time diabetes should really play a role in applying for work, whatever, it is at the safety of others. And that would be like an airline pilot. Yes, if you have a low blood sugar, you're putting the lives of other people at danger. But on the whole, most diabetics try to keep their blood sugars evenly around normal range because we feel better, and that's important. Now, if we take that and we take a look at younger kids all the way up to early ages of high school for myself, but we started high school in Vancouver at grade 8. There were no middle schools in Vancouver. You started grade 8 and you went through 5 years of high school. You graduated and you went on with your life. But a lot of times, kids will pick on anything. You have ears that stick out, you'll be picked on. You have diabetes, a lot of times that can be an area to pick on. And I've heard this being done where a child was diagnosed with diabetes. He or she, with the counselor or the teacher, talked to the class before the student returned and said, "This patient has diabetes, which means they'll have to watch what they eat. They sometimes may feel drowsy and the whole routine." And when the student returned and came back in, they were great. It was a smoother guide. When I got diabetes, it was the beginning of my grade 8 year. I was a freshman in high school. Again, we're a little bit different out here in Vancouver at the time. We went, and because, first of all, I entered high school in September as the fat kid. I had always had trouble with weight. I got diabetes, and for the month of October, I was gone. November, I'd start going back to classes. People didn't know who I was. They thought I was a completely different person. I had leaned up. I had lost extra pounds. We had to buy a whole new wardrobe for me because nothing worked. I had to wear, my first day back, I had to wear sweatpants because they didn't have any pants that fit. Back then, they were kind of frowned upon for everyday life. If you wore them in gym, fine, but classroom, you were kind of looked at a little peculiar. Jeans at that point were acceptable, but sweatpants, ugh. But the office knew about it, and that's a little bit different. But I did get ridiculed. "Oh, you're not allowed to wear sweatpants here. Oh, no, can't do that." People assume that we're getting away with so much more when it's just practical. By, I think, the next day, I was able to get pants that fit, shirts that fit, but they all thought I was a new student. Oh, and it took a while, but they finally realized, hey, I was the same person. So it's all good. But whether you're at work, medically, or in school, being bullied is never okay. Being told, "Oh, you can't go for any special thing because you have diabetes." And there may be a perceived stigma of that you're incapable and that you're putting people at risk, which you're not. But remember that. If your son or daughter comes back from school saying so-and-so is picking on me because I'm a diabetic, I feel that's the time a parent should step in. The child has nothing to do. There's nothing they can do to stop this on their own. They need some adult intervention. Medically, I talked about if your endocrinologist, your GP, anyone, specialty persons that you go see for whatever condition, let them know you're not going to be pigeonholed and saying, "Oh, we can't do that because you're a diabetic." Well, why can't we? My blood sugars have been stable for I don't know how many years. Yes, I probably will have a higher blood sugar for a bit, but it doesn't mean that I can't be involved with it. But take care, show your abilities, not your disabilities. And diabetes on its own is a disability. Diabetes can be a problem if you're not taking care of yourself, always low, always, or going high all the time. But you need to be aware and be able to do things. I think, in fact, my last job before having to so-called retire was working service desk. And, the topic of, well, if we give you this promotion, what are you going to be able to do? What aren't you going to be able to do? What responsibilities are you going to be able to hold? I've done the job. I've gone, my area is always clean where I work. And they said, but what about diabetes? And I said, have I called in sick? I called in sick one day because I had a severe low that night. But I've been here every time you've called me when I've had to come in on a whim or, you need an extra person. I've been there and I got the position. But laying it flat on the line, why we're important to that organization. I loved the work. It was enjoyable. But there is an underlying pressure out there at work, school, and in everyday life that type 1 diabetics are more of a problem. And we need to stand up and we need to tell them why we're not a problem, what we bring to our school, our work, our professional lives. And that's another reason why we need to have our control in a better onset. Every day trying to keep your blood sugar under control. You're there, you're working, and that's the type of thing they want to see. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're always late because your blood sugar is out of whack or you're having lows all over the place, that's not what they want to see. They want to see that they have an employee that are able to do the job. They can be a captain of the school team because they can be reliable. So we need to do some work to show we're not a second-class citizen. But society needs to be alert that we can handle things. With that, have a great day. Sorry, it's a rather long video today, but stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.